Hi, my name is Mike the Healy Gut Guy, and I used to suffer from Crohn's disease with a horrible perianal fistula. I want to show you what treatments I did to fix it. I've pretty much done all these treatments. I want to show you what causes this and what are your options for treating this. So, what is a perianal fistula? Like, where does it originate from? Where does it come from? So it originates from the perianal ducts. There are these two little ducts down here. You know when your dog sniffs another dog to say hi, and you know when they drag their butt across the floor, it's because these bad boys are puffed up. That's why they're dragging their butt across the floor, and you can take them to the vet, and the vet will unpush these things. But that's what they are. I don't know why we still have them. I haven't sniffed anybody's butt recently, but that's their purpose. So what Dr. Hammer, a German doctor, discovered is that everybody who has perianal fistulas, they have a ring in a very specific location in their brain, and this ring is caused by a conflict shock, a stressful event that catches us off guard. And so he found it was like a crappy situation. And for me, it was a bad breakup in college. That's when my perianal fistula first started to show up, and that is when my digestive issues, my Crohn's issues, started to get really bad. So the way that this organ responds in the conflict active phase while I'm going through the breakup is with cell loss. So this is like losing cells, cell loss, cell loss, cell loss, cell loss. I get a new girlfriend, the conflict gets resolved, and then this cell loss gets restored with cell proliferation. And so keep in mind, this is all happening in an enclosed, tight area. And so this is when you get those big old abscesses, where it's like this, and it's filled with pus, and the pus has nowhere to go. And so what the body does is it starts to try to find an entrance, and it makes these fistulas. You know, they can go here, you know, sometimes they can go out into the vagina, you know, sometimes they're small, and or it's on this side, and it's just a little tiny fistula like this, no big deal. You know, sometimes they branch off, they do all sorts of crazy things. So that's how a fistula forms. And it usually, and so I had a crappy situation that lasted for a long time. Like I was just horrible with women, always in bad relationships and stuff like that. And until I got that part of my life under control and married my wonderful wife, that's when it stopped. Like it stopped draining a lot of pus and blood. Resolving the conflict got it to stop draining pus and blood 24/7. Okay? So just by getting the stress under control, you can stop the blood and pus, and you can see a lot of improvement in your symptoms. But my fistula track never went away. Some of them healed, and then they can heal if you do this relatively quickly. If you get a hold of this, if this crappy situation isn't too intense and you address it quickly, it can go away by itself. It can heal by itself. But normally what happens, this gets lined with like scar tissue, and it becomes permanent. And that's what happened with mine. I had a perianal fistula for 10 years, and this was scar tissue. It became permanent. So I had a few different options here. And so if you take the modern medicine route and you talk to a surgeon, they aren't going to touch a perianal fistula if it goes past a certain point, if it goes past your rectum muscles. Your rectum holds your poop in. So what they have to do is essentially expose this track to the open world so it can heal correctly. And if they cut through your sphincter muscles, your rectal muscles, then your rectal muscles won't heal correctly, and you have to wear diapers for the rest of your life. But if you have a small fistula that's outside of, your rectal muscles, and sometimes these go like into the vagina or some crazy places, but if it's just like on your butt cheek and it's just going through flesh and it's not going through muscle, then they can just, so let's try to simplify this. So let's say you have a fistula that's like this, right? They just cut this open and it will heal. It'll just heal and it will fill in itself and you'll have a little scar there and it's gone. Easy. Super easy procedure. You do it with probably like a kitchen knife or something like that. That's a joke. Don't do that. So there's that. But what do you do when it's past the rectum muscle and you can't get to it that way? You have two different options. So the first option is a laser closure. So essentially what they do, so this track, let's make this easier to visualize. So this person's got a nice big track. What they do is they stick a laser in here and they burn it shut. They cauterize it shut. Like if you cut off your arm and you need to cauterize the wound, they cauterize this shut and it closes. This is usually pretty effective. I've done this. Mine reopened again, but I was having a lot of crappy situations in my life, so that's probably why it reopened again. But for the vast majority of people, like 90% of the people, it doesn't reopen. And this is a very easy procedure. It's like you go in, they zap you, you're done, and you know the next day you might be a little sore, and then the day after that, it's like it never happened. But I did this and mine came back, but I was not addressing the crappy situation in my life. So just recently, and I'm kind of still healing from it, I did the Kusara Sutra thread. This is an old Ayurvedic surgical method that they've been using for a very, very long time, for thousands of years. It's very similar to a seton. So for a seton, they just put a regular string through here. They put a regular string through here just to allow it to stay open and drain correctly, to allow the pus to drain correctly. But with this thread is that they're going to put through here is coated with a caustic material, a very it's a burning material, like it's burning your flesh. What it's actually doing, it's dissolving your flesh. It has a very corrosive herb put on it, so it's burning through your flesh. So what they do is they tie this really tight. They tie this really tight, and slowly this thread is cutting through your flesh. So day one, it will look like this, right? And then so like a week later, this thread has been cutting. It's been cutting all week, and the track has moved. It will move from here to here, okay? And they have to change the thread once a week, maybe. It depends on who's doing it and the strength of the thread, but I did mine every other week. We changed the thread. And I had a very long fistula, so I had to do 3 or 4 thread treatments. So I had this piece of thread in my butt for like a month and a half. It was not fun. It burned. I recommend that you put cotton swabs in your butt, because what happens, as you're walking around, put cotton swabs right here, because what happens is this caustic liquid seeps out of your butt and out of your holes, and it gets onto your butt cheeks, and it burns. And so then you'll have your butt cheeks will burn. So you want to keep putting cotton balls in your butt, or I just buy like a big thing of cotton. Every time I go to the bathroom, I wash myself in the shower to keep it nice and clean. I dry it off really good, and then I stick cotton in there to soak up all the juices so it doesn't get on my butt cheeks and irritate it. But another thing that they were doing is that they were cutting my butt to decrease the amount of So like this is my butt cheek. So they would cut here with a knife, with a surgical knife, so there was less flesh that the string had to cut through. And then when the string finally made it through my rectal muscle, because the string cuts slow enough through the rectum muscle that it doesn't hurt it, it doesn't injure it. But once the string gets through the rectal muscle, they can just do the surgery and cut it and leave it open, and they can heal by itself. So I hope that made sense. It's a very neat procedure, but I would recommend the laser closure. There's not a lot of people who do this. I know there's somebody in San Diego who does it. There's somebody in Klagenfurt, Austria who does it, who is the person that I used. Easy, cheap. I think it cost me $300 to do it here. The guy in San Diego charges quite a bit, but I think you can probably use insurance to get it treated. These treatments are, this thread treatment is done everywhere in India. Like, so many people do it in India because they actually practice Ayurvedic medicine over there. But it's very difficult to find someone who does this treatment, which doesn't make any sense to me because it's the same thing as putting in aceton, essentially. But usually you have to go to India, and usually, if you have Crohn's disease, you're going to have to, if you're not on drugs or something like that, or if the inflammation is high, they're going to give you a hard time. So you pretty much got to play hardball with them. Go up to them and be like, look, I don't care. I don't want to be on meds. This is the risk I'm taking, blah, 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 blah. Please just do the treatment. I don't want advice. Just please do the treatment. So that's something you can look out for. But yeah, guys, that's how you get rid of a perianal fistula. It will only heal by itself if you catch it early. And the two surgeries we have, surgery will work and is very easy if it doesn't go through any organs and go deep into the body and go past this rectal muscle right here. You can get a laser closure is the easiest, and it will stay shut if you keep your crappy situation resolved. I did not keep my crappy situation resolved. I was getting in fights with girlfriends and stuff like that. That's why mine came back. And then the most permanent one is this thread treatment, but it is the most intensive. I could not sit down for the first week, and then the second week I'd be okay, but then after that I'd have to go get another one. So I was literally could not sit down for a month. I could not do much work. I had to lay on my side. But putting the cotton in my butt cheek saved me the most, because it took me a week or two to figure that out, that the cotton was the best way to absorb everything and keep it somewhat clean down there. So, all right, guys, I hope that helped you. If you would like my assistance in healing your gut, I have something called the Rapid Gut Healing Program, and you can learn more about the details of that down below, where you can talk to me and my staff at live Q&As 3 to 4 times a week, answer all your questions. I also have a free 30-day program, which there's a link to that down below in the description as well. Shows you everything I did to get better. You can watch my free videos and get better, but leave a comment. What do you think was your crappy situation that caused your fistula to form? Yeah, guys, I'd love to talk to you and get to know you more. So leave a comment down below, hit that like button, it helps us out. I am Mike, the Heal Your Gut Guy, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.